That's why I'm just saying, like, I guess they were just bored. They were maybe watching Hell's Kitchen and got like inspired and just went to the kitchen and they were like full Gordon Ramsay up in there, chopping shit up, crushing it.
Yeah.
You gotta cook it at the right temperature.
Yeah, I think instead of Hell's Kitchen, they should have Hell's Crack House, and it's just Gordon Ramsay just going through the back kitchen, like all these naked women with the little plastic berets on to protect their hair. They're just stirring up the fentanyl, and Gordon Ramsay's like, "Not strong enough. What the fuck do you think? What is this bullshit?" Time that I did the time.
Wait, what happened?
I thought the timer.
Welcome.
Welcome back to Breaking Takes. I fucked up the timer.
It said record, but then it didn't say
Hello?
record on the other. Wait, what?
Testing. 1 2 1 2.
Do you hear me? Damn.
Hello.
Yeah. Do you see me?
I see you now. Yeah, it just froze for 10 seconds.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, I see. Do you same to you?
Yeah, I've been seeing you and hearing you the whole time. This has been a rough, rocky start.
All right. Welcome to Breaking Takes, everyone. We didn't just do this 30 seconds ago and fuck up. You're watching the first attempt at us
absolutely
starting the podcast. You know,
Yep.
sometimes things get a little sticky with remote podcasting.
Mhm.
You know, and remote podcasting can be a lot like, you know, one night stands. It's a little sticky. You don't know where things are gonna go sometimes. Like you're both learning. You're learning how to
long
interact.
Will it be?
Yeah,
It could be a short while. It could be a long while. It could be a bender.
It could be a series. It could be a series.
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
know.
Could go on for years.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
but yes, welcome, my friends.
Welcome. Speaking of series. We were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but I just got on the Anna Delvey train. I had no idea about Anna Delvey or the documentary Inventing Anna on Netflix. And the documentary, or not, I keep calling it a documentary. It's like a bio-doc. It's
it's like a drama docu-series.
Yeah. And this came out a couple years ago, but I think she recently got out of prison. So it's kind of topical, and I just want to start out by saying I am impressed by just the length that she would go and the persistence, the determination of her to wear just not only the clothes of rich people, but the spirit of a rich person, and how easy, like how dumb rich people are, like how easy it is to fool a rich, like it's hard to believe that you could found a company like Uber and then just see someone in a Balenciaga suit and you're just like, yeah, I'll give you $4 million. Like, I don't need to know anything about you, but do you want my money?
Yeah, there are a lot of dumb people that are rich. Not every gajillionaire is like that. I think like there are plenty of smart business people that would need to, like, you know, see some paperwork there,
especially
but
the ones that listen to this podcast. They're the smart ones for sure.
Oh,
the rich people listening.
Yeah, and I could show you paperwork. I could show you a paper trail of why you should invest in Breaking Takes. So, you know, reach out, send us an email.
Yeah,
give you the info in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll toss around some buzzwords like equity, ROI, founders percentage,
that's right,
returner metric data, just, you know, Spotify wrapped things like that. That's just gonna make you want to invest in Breaking Takes. But yeah, Anna Delvey, she's just such an impressive cunt. I don't know how else to put it. She's like an impressive fraudster cunt, and people that have watched the bio doc they know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't watched Inventing Anna, I highly recommend it. I did not go into it with high hopes because there's so many sort of like these rich one-off Fire Festival type documentaries, which the dude from Fire Festival.
Those were good documentaries too. Billy, what's his name?
There were like 4 of them though. So I was like, which Fire Festival documentary do I watch?
Yeah, there's 2 that are like the top 2. And one I'm pretty sure is on Hulu.
Yeah.
I think the Hulu one you should watch, but that's a character as well. And the actress though that plays Anna Delvey, it's Julie something, I think. But she killed it with that accent. Let's see.
She's in Ozark too. That's where I recognize her from. Julie Garrard or something?
Julia Garner. Okay. Yeah, she crushed that role because she just ate it up, honestly. She made me like loved Anna in the show. I mean, she was a rich bitch. Well, like a fake rich bitch, really. Yeah. An artificial rich bitch, but she was so iconic throughout the whole show that I loved her for it.
Yeah. I would love to be there when because Julie, what's the actress name? You said it's
Julia Garner.
Julia Garner. She said that she visited the real Anna Delvey in prison to get her persona and her style of speaking down. I would love to be there in the prison with Julie Garner and Anna Delvey, just watching them go back and forth, where Anna Delvey's like, it's you look poor, not you look poor. It's you look poor. And she's like, all right, you look poor. And she's like, no, it's you look poor. And now I'm, I will send you the wire. See, I can't do it. I'm
coming.
Like, the wire.
All
is
I
coming.
remember is like her friend, like towards the end of that, her friend loans her money. I mean, Anna Delvey's getting money loans from all over the place for having like zero credibility. But like once you have the facade of credibility, it kept pouring in. But one of her rich friends gives her like a loan. They go somewhere, don't they? They go on like some trip.
They go to Morocco.
Okay, so they go to Morocco, and then the friend is like, okay, I need my money. Like, give me back my money, or like give me my cut, like whatever it is. Like, just like the rest of the show is like, the wire is coming.
The wire is coming.
Gosh, why are you so annoying?
Stop being so dramatic.
The wire is coming.
Stop, why are you crying? Stop being so dramatic.
It's like $50,000 or like $100K.
Yeah, her friend. That's it. It's honestly like it was just darkly hilarious, that scene where the friend that she stole $62,000 from at some point in the show is crying over like everyone's drunk at the table, but she's crying. They're drinking champagne, and she's just like, she's building up the liquid courage to confront Anna, and she's like, I put it on my company card. You knew I couldn't do that. It's $62,000, and she's like, I'm trying to build something. Like, why are you being so dramatic? It's just 62 grand. Like, it's money.
Totally. And doesn't she also like screw over? I think she essentially screws over everybody, but like, doesn't she also screw over the lady that works at the hotels? Because Anna Delvey, essentially, when she gets to here in New York, she kind of just lives in like penthouse hotels, right? Like big suites and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't know. So she screws over multiple people, and a couple of the people are the people they work at the hotel, or they're the managers of the hotel, and she makes them look bad because she doesn't pay. But I had no idea you could walk into hotels like the W in New York City and not put down a functioning card and just charge everything to the room, and then they'll check it in like a month. And like, she would be staying places for 2 months, and then they're just like, oh, by the way, your card's not working. And it's like, I've already charged $100,000 to this credit card that doesn't work. But I guess if you're wearing the right thing, or you're talking like,
you don't even have to. I mean, you, in theory, Zach, you can be a small child named Kevin that got left alone in New York for Christmas, and you can still go to Trump Hotel or a rich ass hotel and get a sweet room, and you can be fucking 9 years old, Zach.
100%. I learned from this show, and this applies, if you're just a child bopping around New York, or if you're a pseudo German fake heiress trying to make it
Yeah.
in New York City. The number one thing that I was just constantly noticing is that if you want people to think you're rich, be insanely bothered anytime someone brings up money or you're paying, like you paying them back. Like if someone like if someone comes up to you and it's just some waiter who's making ends meet working at a hotel, and she's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, like we're having a problem with your card. It's not going through. Do you think you could give
Yeah.
it?" You just cut her off immediately. You go, "Why are you bothering me? I'm at dinner with my friends. Like,
Yeah,
do you
just
not
be a
see?
bitch.
Do you know who I am?" Like, just immediately, you can't have that human thing in your brain, which she probably doesn't, where you go, "Oh, I have to treat this person with respect." You immediately just have to be pissed at anyone who wants anything from you that you'd have to pay for, that you'd have to give out. And that was kind of the key the entire time. Like that would convince people that, oh, like she has the money, because normal people don't behave like that when you ask them for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did find it that interesting. I also remember when I was watching it, as you said, she claims to be a German heiress. She's actually like Russian, right? And then she moves to Germany, lives in Germany for a while, and then eventually makes her way over to America. But I remember being like, why do people even really like Americans are so stupid? Because I hate to break it, but like there's like no German royalty really. Like
Yeah.
this isn't the British family. There is other royalty amongst Europe, but Germany, like, they don't really have. I mean, there are, but you'd easily be able to look that up. So I don't know why people bought that story to begin with, that, like, she's an heiress from Germany.
Yeah. They're like, she's like, "Oh, the German oligarchy." And they're just like,
I'm like,
yeah, I guess.
Angela Merkel?
Yeah. Yeah. Like immediate, my head on it when she said she was like some German heiress, I was like, this guy or whoever her dad is just some Nazi who didn't get caught and somehow just stayed in Germany and is
Yeah.
running the whole thing. But obviously that is not the case. She definitely picked the wrong country. Um, when she was telling people. And then also just the fact that how fragile the New York City elite world is, that one
Mm.
person without any credentials could just come in and you fuck the whole thing up, and you really see how easy it is to throw a wrench in a world that is
It's a
fake as
house of
shit.
cards. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a total house of cards. So that's always something that fascinates me when people kind of build their lives around lies. Like Anna Delvey, Billy McFarland, like these other, plenty of other people. Like it's like once you start lying, it's you can't stop. And now this whole thing is built on a house of cards. And like you have to know, like you kind of have to know, like it's coming down eventually, but
Yeah.
you're just riding it out because you can't stop. You're not going
Yeah.
to stop now. You
Yeah.
just got to keep going until the
Yeah.
crash happens.
You got to keep the high going. Yeah. And she kind of lives like a vagabond. She lives almost like a homeless person going from place to place, because yes, she's in these lavish accommodations and she's spending thousands of dollars that she doesn't have. But when the trouble comes, she literally just ditches whoever she's with
Hmm.
and gets a car and just goes, and no
I
one
was
hears from
gonna
her
say,
again.
like, doesn't she have like she doesn't really have like any real friends.
No, and she does that 4 times throughout the show. Like when people are onto her and the hotel manager is like, "We really need
Hmm.
you to pay," she'll just get on a plane and go somewhere else and just start living at another hotel until
Yep.
eventually they started to catch on. And she did that with her friends too. Or like her quote unquote friends, she'd just leave and never
Yeah.
talk to them again. So it is a very, like, to be rich seems to be very cold, or at least like to pretend to be rich and have money. It seems like you have to be very cold, very unattached, very good taste. and there's like a harsh, emotionless vibe that just runs throughout the entire show, which is kind of
It's
sad.
gotta be like a bit of narcissism, right? Like she's gotta be, because she doesn't have like any friends. She's capable of lying straight to like anyone's face.
Yeah.
And all of it's kind of built on like, I'm rich, I'm better than you, give it to me because I'm going to get it anyways. Like,
Yeah.
so I remember at the end of the documentary, I was pretty conflicted on how I felt though. So I'm curious to see how you felt, because I felt like, on one hand, like I mean, she committed fraud and she does have to be held accountable for that. It's a crime. But I also felt like she got away with this because the system's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
like she could have easily been caught so many times and wasn't. And I think I'm happy that she's out of prison now, because I don't think she's on like house arrest now. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure she served like her whole sentence or whatever. I just remember feeling like the sentencing felt harsh to me. Like, yes, she deserves to go be punished for the crimes, but also like, I mean, sometimes like if you're going to be that stupid, like to allow somebody to take advantage of the system like this, like,
Yeah.
to each their own.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of a saving face thing for the hotels and the institutions, because at the end of the day, the money that she costs them is a drop of a drop in a bucket. Like not even $1 million to these billion-dollar companies. So like it's more about the fact that this girl just was making a fool out of the hotels and the the upper echelon of the elite that she was befriending and swindling it was just that she exposed the fakeness of the whole thing. I
Yeah,
think that was more
exactly.
of the gravity. I don't think there will be any sort of lasting repercussions with how institutions are going to handle themselves. I think some of the hotels that got swindled may put in some more safeguards in the short term. But like you if you look at something like the housing crisis, like the whole mortgage crash, there were consequences for some people. Most people went unharmed. I think like one person maybe got arrested out of the whole 2008 financial crisis, and the banks did some patchwork in the meantime. But like now they're back to these sketchy mortgage lending things. Like if you look now, there's other financial instruments that are just as sketchy as what was going on in 2008. So it's like, yeah, we just need to take a break for a little bit, and then when people aren't paying attention, we're just going to go back and sort of making all of this fake money, like billions of dollars changing hands, and like this money in digital realms. And it's just like, it doesn't even feel real. So something as small as Anna Delvey, I don't think it's really going to change anything to prevent people from doing what she did again. I think the people that it just happened to will be embarrassed, and they will never be able to live it down. But
it's without a doubt still happening right now as we speak in New York.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not to this scale, I'm not sure, but like, yeah, I mean, it's happening.
That's a good point, because people act like Anna Delvey is special, but she may just be the one that got caught. How many Anna or Dan Delveys are out there that just aren't as fame hungry as her? They're totally content to be in the rich world, but not on social media. They don't want to talk to journalists. Like the thing that drew in Anna Delvey was the journalist said, I can make you famous. She's like, I can't promise you I'm going to make the story come out a certain way. That depends on the facts. But the one thing I can promise you is fame. And that's when,
that's
at least
that narcissism.
Yeah.
That'll get you.
But it's like, if you're in that world, and I'm rubbing shoulders with billionaires, and I'm going on yachts, and I'm running up the bill on hotels, and no one fucking cares. It's like, I don't need an Instagram. I'd probably delete my Instagram. I wouldn't talk to anybody about it. And just
I find like a lot of these people though, it is like narcissism. I mean, look at like George Santos now, right? Like he literally kind of like faked his way into politics and then just got expelled. And now it just got reported that he just got expelled from Congress or whatever.
Yeah.
He's making like $50K a day in cameos because people think it's like hilarious. Yes. Do you know how ridiculous that is?
I mean, that's a perfect representation of society. It's like,
yes.
Oh, I don't know if OJ Simpson's on Cameo, but if he was, he'd probably be making the same things. Like there are also certain crimes you commit where people go, yeah, you're a piece of shit, but I also think you're entertaining. So like, as long as you didn't abuse anyone or you didn't like
murder your wife.
Yeah, it's well, even with that, people are like, well, his Heisman trophies outweigh the murder. So I still want a cameo from OJ Simpson, but with DeSantos, who's defrauding politicians, and Anna Delvey, who's defrauding these bigger institutions, I think people kind of see that as a victimless crime, where it's like he weaseled his way in and it was fucked up, but like it's not like he's like a Bill Cosby figure. Like I don't think. Maybe we were so bad in a society that Bill Cosby would do well on Cameo. Like I was about to be like, Bill Cosby couldn't sell a Cameo.
At this point, I think they could. Yeah, I really do, because we're so. I mean, not me. I would never buy a Cameo from these fuckheads, but like as a society, clearly we are so obsessed with like the joke that we're living in that we just don't care anymore, and we're like giving people money, even though it's like Anna Delvey, it does seem victimless to me, aside from her friend, her poor friend that didn't get her money back. But George Santos is like, he to me is, that's more of like, there is a kind of a victim to the crime, which is like our fucking political system, but he's not the only person that's done that in politics. I mean, he's not taking it down single-handedly. So
I mean, I could totally see if Hamas runs out of money, the leader goes on like one of his boys just sends him the website Cameo, is like, do you see how much money people are making on this? I guarantee you, if the head of Hamas got on Cameo, they would be the #1 earner by the end of tomorrow. People would people would be telling him to send videos to best friends or whoever and be like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna JK, like, happy birthday Sharon, like blah blah. And
no, I mean, I don't know, Cameo, but also it's like, I don't blame them for signing up. It's like the easiest way to make money. Hearing that George Santos made around $50K in like a day or two that he's been out of Congress, that's more than people make in a year. So why wouldn't you sign up? Honestly, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. So
I mean, if you defraud the political system, if you're a terrorist, or if you're a serial killer, Cameo also provides an alibi for your crimes, because you're like, look, I was spending all day making happy anniversary videos. I couldn't have killed and eaten that person. So it's it's a good way to get away with things.
Do you have any final thoughts on your Anna Delvey watch?
I just think, after my whole rant about how messed up the world is and people buying cameos of Anna Delvey, I hope she gets on Cameo so I could pay for her to promote Breaking Takes.
Well, she has.
I'll give her money.
Doesn't she have a podcast now?
She might.
I think she came.
Idea.
She either. I'm pretty sure that she came out with a podcast now that she's out. Or maybe I'm wrong. Okay, no. Inventing Anna, the official podcast. No, that is just the show. I think I know that she was on the Call Her Daddy podcast. So maybe you just need to work on getting her as a guest on your podcast or this podcast.
Yeah, I'd be open to it.
Yeah, I would love to chat with her.
Yeah, I have some business ideas for her too, because she got in trouble for trying to sneak in with the rich people. I think if she started a series where every episode she tried to sneak in with a different group of people and sort of adopt their personalities, like a homeless camp in LA. She had to show up.
How good of a chameleon she really is.
Yeah, homeless camp. You could have like farmers, some sort of ice fishers in Alaska. Anna Delvey showing up and trying to do that. A cult leader just try to replace someone and sneak your way in and take over the cult. So I think there's an opening for her.
Gotta wait until she gets off house arrest, though, because she can't go too far right now.
Yeah.
Limited.
100%.
But speaking, I have a story related to this.
Go ahead.
So, well, kind of. I was just going to say, speaking of scamming society, a retired couple has booked 51 back-to-back cruises because it's cheaper than a retirement home.
What?
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, so this is from ABC 7 Chicago specifically, but it's all over the place. So a retired Australian couple have spent over 450 days sailing the seas on, does it say what type? Aboard the Coral Princess cruise ship. A retired Australian couple, Marty and Jessica, basically said like they want to take as many cruises as possible because it's cheaper than a retirement home, which I think is pretty fucking genius. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like absolute hell to me.
As long as you don't get seasick.
It sounds like hell to me, but if you have a thing that you love to do, and for them it's cruises, and you figure out that you have the financial means to do that for the rest of the time on this earth, then
it's
you've
more
won.
Affordable, apparently, Zach. They say, we think it's for us. It's more cost effective than a retirement village. And when you think about it, it's like you don't have any major bills. Like you don't have to pay for internet or electricity or water. And the cost of healthcare is insane these days. A retirement home is actually expensive as fuck. So they're like avoiding bills and getting like all the same service as you would get in a retirement home.
Yeah. But would there be anything more depressing? Because don't forget, you're going to die on this ship. Like they're both going to die. They have morgues.
There's a reason. Also, wait, this reminds me, you say that because there's a thing where there are morgues on all cruise ships because so many old people go on cruises and like die on them.
God.
I think this has been happening. Like this couple is just shining a light on this. I think many old people have been retiring from life on cruise ships.
Could you imagine going to pick up your grandparents from a cruise, and instead of your grandparents, a police officer walks off the cruise and asks you to identify them instead? Like, is there anything darker than that?
It depends how old they are, I guess, but I think this is an act of organizational genius. I mean, they should put their TripAdvisor on a spotlight. Like, did they do this themselves or did they hire somebody? Because to book these cruises back to back to back to back, like so long that they have been at sea for well over a year.
Yeah.
Like,
they're basically the GameStop investors of cruises. They've figured out a way to outsmart the system, get in early. Eventually people are going to catch on and the entire cruise industry is going to crash, no pun intended, but they're going to be dead.
Sink.
It's going to sink. They'll be dead by the time that happens. They're starting a conversation amongst retired people, which there are a lot, and there are a lot that love cruises. I have never been on a cruise. I just
Yeah, so you can't say it sounds terrible.
I can't. I'd be a hypocrite if I said it was terrible, because all I have is just like the stereotypical cruise experience in my head, like the trashy Hawaiian. Yeah, Titanic. Yeah.
I thought that's what you were gonna say, and then you went somewhere else. So
yeah, I'm just imagining me at 65 years old in a Hawaiian t-shirt, and then the ship just hits an iceberg and cracks in half, and I'm just, one hand on a wooden panel with my wife, who won't pull me up for some reason, and the other hand just hanging on to a pina colada because I don't want to die sober. And I'm just like
Was the Titanic even? That's not even a cruise, right? They were just like traveling from one area to the other.
It was a big ass ship.
Like it was big. I think people kind of say it was a cruise, but I'm pretty sure they were just like, it was like they were going to New York. Like that was the thing. It wasn't like they were like just like la-di-da around the Bermuda Triangle like most cruises are. Cruises just kind of go around like and dock in areas and let you get off and whatever. Like you're not doing that. You're not docking in fucking Greenland on your way over.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have. I mean,
I don't think. Yeah, someone might have wanted to check the map or
exactly.
check the directions of the iceberg. Yeah. I don't think the idea of vacational cruises were a thing to the extent it is today. Back in 1912 or whenever the Titanic was, because when the Titanic was built, I remember one of the reasons why it was so big is because it was also a showcase of technology. It was also like, we built this thing, it's huge, there's never been anything like it.
But it wasn't even that big compared to like ships now.
Yeah, it was for the time, it was a engineering feat. But yeah, they definitely, the people who figured out this retirement scheme, I say more power to them. I think if you can find a way to stick it to the man, if you can, if you can figure out with your money, whatever it is, if you're like, I want to do heroin every day until I'm in the grave, and you're 70 years old and you calculate it out and you have until you're 88 and you're like, I can do this every day and I have enough money to do it, and that's how you want to go out, more power to you. So cruises,
there's a
black tar.
lot of fun activities on cruises, right? It's like the same thing as a retirement home. I swear to God, it's like the same thing, except it's on water. You have like prepared food. Like you're not doing any cooking in a retirement home. So there's no cooking on the cruise. Like you're going to eat, like you go to little restaurants. And also there's a pool. There's always a pool at a retirement home because you got to get those achy bones in the pool. Yeah. And there's also just like games and karaoke. All that happens at retirement homes. This couple specifically says this couple's day usually starts at 5:30 a.m. It's very average time to get up for old people. So starting
that's late,
at 5:30.
Honestly. That's
late. Actually.
I think my aunt and uncle get up at like, exactly. They eat dinner at 4:30 p.m. and they wake up at 4 a.m. So they're sleeping in.
Yeah, sleeping in till 5:30. They immediately play ping pong together in the morning.
That's cute.
Right? And then they spend the rest of it enjoying different activities. They say it's a party every day. We even have alcohol sometimes. So they're having the time of their life. And the couple is booked on the Coral Princess through August of next year. And they say they love their lifestyle. So you're not going to see them in a retirement home anytime soon. They're going to be at sea. They might never see their families again. They're just going to be at sea.
Yeah. Sometimes that's also, I like that power move too, because it's like they have baked into their retirement plan that they're never gonna see their kids or grandchildren.
Yeah, limited time.
They have to stop at a cruise stop for the day, or sometimes they just stop for hours. Literally, it's like 4 hours. So I like that. It's like a built-in time with your relatives. Like they decided
we can squeeze dinner in.
Yeah, they're like, fuck these 2-week Christmas trips where I'm hanging out with my kids who I don't even like, and I only like 2 of my grandchildren. Let's just see them for a couple hours twice a year when we dock in Portugal, and then the rest of the time, unless they want a helicopter into the cruise, we're not going to see them. So I respect that power move.
Exactly. So I think this has been great for them. You said you've never been on a cruise. I've also never been on a cruise. Would you go on a cruise, or are you anti-cruise?
I don't like the idea of not being able to get off. Yeah. I don't like the idea of, it's just that feeling of your vacation, no matter how many things are on the ship to distract you, you're still on this vessel in the middle of a vast, vast ocean, surrounded by nothing. And that is a little bit daunting. And with the people, I think I would enjoy if I had a sailboat and I was going around and it was just me and maybe.
I like small boats as well.
Yeah,
I don't do cruises either, because I feel similar to you. There are people like this couple. It's always couples. I feel like we all know a couple that's like a cruise couple. It's either like your aunt and uncle, your best friend's parents. Like there's always a couple that's like a cruise couple. Every year they're going on a cruise somewhere. Yeah. And that fascinates me.
Yeah. No, it does. I think the issue is, and you sound like you're probably similar, is I don't like super resort style vacations where everyone is kind of mashed together on this just isolated thing, and then outside of that is either nothing or like just some dirt road that leads back to civilization. But just being in a resort style place in the middle of nowhere. And I grew up like that because my parents loved going to resorts. Like we would go to like Puerto Rico, but we wouldn't actually see Puerto Rico. We'd land in the airport.
That's
and then we drive to the hotel, and then we leave. So we could have just stayed in any resort pretty much.
Yeah.
And when you're in a resort like that, you hear and see a lot of other people's problems because you're in so close proximity. I have vivid memories of being 9 years old and watching in real time as another couple gets divorced 3 tables away from me.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to be around other people for that long when I'm on vacation. Like I'll pop in and out on a tour or like going hiking or on the beach, but it's like, I don't want to be constantly surrounded by other people and their bullshit. And when you're on a cruise, like you're going to be in the cocktail line or waiting for drinks, and you're going to hear people arguing and saying, the tuna was fresher last cruise, or like or like, I hate my kids and stuff like that. It's like, you can have your BS. I just don't want it in my consciousness. Like that's your own shit.
I think that's valid. I feel the same way. When I go on vacation, I don't want to go to a resort. I'm going to my first resort, though, actually in the spring for a bachelorette party. So I do think there are certain situations when it's like it makes sense because you are trying to keep like a bigger group together. But yeah, if Demi and I are going on trips, we are never going to a resort. We're always going like to the country or wherever we're going, and we're going to get like our Airbnb and really experience the place and the culture that we're in. So yeah, in boats, it's just like, I mean, I can't say because I haven't been on a cruise, right? So I don't know, but yeah, the idea of being surrounded by that many people, and then it's like you zoom out of the picture and it's just like a lump of us on this floating ship in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, that sounds like a fucking nightmare to me.
Yeah.
And I really like boats. I love the ocean. I love the beach. I love getting out on like a speedboat or a sailing boat or anything. I like to drive boats. I like to do all that, but I don't want to be on a cruise ship.
Yeah. I do think it's cool that if you're staying on a cruise for your whole retirement, you're pretty much guaranteed to see someone fall overboard and die. I think that
they probably have a lot of stories. They should start a podcast.
So I actually just completely like this wasn't part of this story. I just happened to be looking up cruise deaths this week. I forgot how I got
People
on
are
it.
always falling overboard.
25% of deaths on cruises are because of people going overboard, and it's
Once
the number
they go
one.
Overboard, it's like 1 in 1,000 chance of being recovered.
Yeah, and so it takes the cruise a minimum of 1 mile to turn around because it's such a big ship. The waters are, you freeze to death in 15 minutes.
It's also like, even if you get recovered, good luck surviving hypothermia.
Yeah. It's like if you fall overboard, it's like 25% of the deaths on cruise ship overall are caused by going overboard. But once you do, then from there, it's like 30% of them just get sucked into the engine right away. So it's like the most gruesome death possible.
Nice.
And then another 30% freeze to death before the ship can recover you. And then the rest of them are basically just not found because people forget how big the ocean is. They think you fall off and the cruise just turns around. It's like not that big of a deal. They just pick you up. It's like, no, they go for like 25 to 30 minutes. Then they have to turn around to make that big of a U-turn. And then by the time they turn around, they don't know where the currents have taken you, or like fucking like it's such a crapshoot.
And good luck if it's dark. Like,
oh yeah.
You also, I think some people don't realize like how dark it really is out there because we're so used to living in society. And so it's never like super dark because there are always car lights, street lights, house lights. When you're in the middle of the ocean, like the boat light only goes so far. And as soon as you're out of that, it's literally just close your eyes because that's all you see. You're not seeing anything. So you're not going to hear anything either because it's going to be the ocean itself is just too loud. So you're a goner.
Yeah. I do think it would be cool though, as the couple in retirement, to you're going to have, I would say maybe a few times a year at least, because you're just constantly on cruises. You'll catch a glimpse of someone going over, and then
another one.
And then you'll hear someone. You might even be talking to someone. You might even be talking to a couple, and the dude's so fucked up that you just see a guy in real time just fall back and go over the side of the cruise ship.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, you're on another cruise. You're talking to a different couple, and they go, "Yeah, I've heard it like 10% of people or something that die on cruises it's because they go overboard." And you go, "Actually, it's more than that, and I've seen 8 of them in the past year. Let me tell you."
Yeah, you're like,
what it looks like. Let me tell you what it looks like to
I've been keeping a diary. I've been tallying them.
Yeah. Let me tell you what it looks like to see someone get sucked up into the propeller. Okay, so first the blood gurgles up into the water, and then you're just like going on all these.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Congrats to Marty and Jessica Anson. They are the eyes and ears of the Coral Princess Cruise Institution. And I'm proud of them for this organizational genius and for just saying, fuck the system. Like, I'm going on a cruise for the rest of my life because it's more affordable than getting cared for in a retirement home.
Do you know how when people die, sometimes they'll do a tribute where you give a speech and you leave a couple chairs empty, and it's that, that's where they always sat. Do you think they'll do that with the beach chairs around the pool at the cruise? They'll be like, this was like Bob and Linda's chair. They were on the cruise for 9,000 days straight. Set the record for Carnival.
I actually think the cruise ship employees are probably like, oh, we love like Marty and Mr. Marty and Miss Jess. They're like so sweet. And this was their room. And this was their chairs. And they used to order this meal every day.
It's like you're giving a tour of a haunted house, but it's just like their room instead, and there's nothing haunted about it. It's just, two people that spent 30 years on a cruise ship, and their chairs are just dipped in gold and hanging out by the pool.
If this could be the start of something like just a cruise ship specifically for retirement Like, it's just all, it's like, oh, a room just opened up, you know, and you know what that means when a room
Yeah.
opens up at a retirement home.
Yeah.
Means somebody just passed away.
I mean,
So,
you would have some insane swinger parties on a retirement
hell
cruise
yeah.
ship because old people love to fuck. We did a story a long time ago where it was about the different coded bracelets for the retirement home.
When
Do
they're
you,
like, what, a super like fall risk or something? Or they're
do you
like,
remember? It was, I forget whose story it was, but it was basically about a retirement home where people were swinging, and depending on the color of bracelets
oh,
they were
gotcha.
wearing, it would be like, I'm into furry play if I had a
Oh, yeah,
blue
yeah, yeah.
bracelet,
Gotcha.
or
Yeah.
I'm into anal if I have a
Yeah,
brown bracelet.
it's like
But
at clubs or like parties even here, like you go in and you pick a cup. Like,
yeah,
and if you have a green cup, it means like you're single, you're looking to mingle. Blue cups, like not single, but I want to mingle. And then like a red cup is like, don't talk to me
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Imagine you accidentally booked a swingers cruise ship without realizing it, and you get on the cruise ship and
Everyone's naked.
some 80-year-old lady whose tits are hanging down to her knees just starts massaging you on the shoulders from behind, and she's like, "Hey,
Is the
honey,
massage good?
you look like you need to get off your feet. How
I
about you
would
let me
honestly
help
be
you?"
like, let me just close my eyes because I need a massage. So I'm not
Yeah,
going to stop this.
yeah. Except you're wearing the brown bracelet, so she thinks you're into to other
Yeah.
things.
I'll
She
have
might
like
try to.
one titty just like resting on my shoulder.
Yeah, that probably feels nice, like a little, like a warm. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh.
earmuffs, titty muffs for the shoulders. At that
Yeah.
point,
I mean, we'll call up Marty and Jessica and we'll ask what all the services are
yeah,
before we book our trip.
100%. So speaking of dying, essentially.
Okay.
Speaking of death, this is not retirement death. This is earlier than expected. People going deceased. So this article comes from Erie.gov, and the
Mhm.
title is "The First Erie County Overdose Death Linked to Carfentanil, an opioid 100 times more potent than fentanyl." The story
Okay.
the story reads, the Erie County Medical Examiner's Office has confirmed the first Erie County opioid-related overdose death linked to carfentanil, a synthetic opioid 10,000 times more potent than morphine and 100 times more potent than fentanyl. The death occurred in September, and toxicology tests for that case confirmed the presence of multiple substances, including carfentanil, cocaine, fentanyl, and other fentanyl analogs. Quote, carfentanil's effects hit faster and longer than fentanyl. The discovery of this toxic and incredibly dangerous drug signals another phase in the opioid epidemic. So, pretty powerful shit that is now out in the market. I want to know, like, who is overseeing the recipe for fentanyl, which is already just, you have a thumbtack on your finger and you pass away. Who's seeing this recipe and going like, yeah, fentanyl needs a little bit more
Get
kick,
up it.
and it's just like fucking like sprinkling more shit into the recipe and just like tasting it, being like, oh yeah, that'll kill you way harder. Like, who is in
Yeah.
charge of distributing
Yeah.
these things in the cartel? Like, why is this drug even in existence? Like, fentanyl, even for legal reasons, puts you out like no other drug before. It's more potent than oxy and morphine. Like, why would you even need this around for legal reasons? I don't understand.
Is it boredom? Like, I don't know. Are they just like fucking bored? They're like, sales are slow right now. Like, let me go to the
Yeah,
kitchen and see what I can whip up.
yeah,
Like, I don't, that's my theory. They're either bored or like, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really understand fentanyl because I don't get the business model of it because obviously drug dealers or drug people that create these drugs want people to get addicted so they come back, blah, blah, blah. But fentanyl just like kills people. So
yeah,
they're not even like, they're losing business that way. So I'm not really sure. That's why I'm just saying, like, I guess they were just bored. They were maybe watching Hell's Kitchen and got like inspired and just went to the kitchen and they were like full Gordon Ramsay up in there, chopping shit up, crushing it.
Yeah.
You gotta cook it at the right temperature.
Yeah. I think instead of Hell's Kitchen, they should have Hell's Crack House, and it's just Gordon Ramsay just going through the back kitchen, like all these naked women with the little plastic berets on to protect their hair. They're just stirring up the fentanyl, and Gordon Ramsay's like, "Not strong enough. What the fuck do you think? What is this bullshit?" And he's just like so cracked out on fentanyl that, he's just, Gordon Ramsay. I don't even know what he would be like if he's on that much fentanyl, because he's already got a kick.
Like superhuman.
Like I guess would slow him down, because fentanyl is an opioid. I guess maybe he'd be normal. Maybe Gordon Ramsay would just be talking nicely to you if he was on an extreme amount of fentanyl.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what the purpose of this could be, aside from like population control. Like, I thought we were in like a population crisis though. I feel like there's like a problem going on where we're not procreating because the state of the world sucks. So I don't think we need population control. So I don't know. I think he was just having funsies in the kitchen and created a super fentanyl.
Yeah. I think maybe it could be boredom. You might be onto something, because I feel like if because it's originating in labs, I'm assuming, whether it's in a legal lab or it's, some lab in Pfizer where they're trying to make the next strongest thing. There is this element where if you get good at your job, and the person who created fentanyl, like, hats off to you. It killed so many people, but it is good.
I kind of forgot.
Like
it works. Fentanyl, you use it. I had fentanyl in my system when I had my biopsy.
When you were at when you were in Hell's Crack House for an episode.
that was a different time, different dose. But we do use fentanyl regularly in hospitals. So I mean, I guess I kind of totally forgot that. Like, maybe it was created. I immediately went to Breaking Bad. Like, this has to just be a couple of goons whipping something up. But you brought a good point that maybe this could be like legitimate science.
Yeah.
That they're like trying to just, some people need stuff, like people that have done hard drugs. Like, for me, I think the fentanyl probably did its trick. But for some people, like, that is truly not enough when they just get out of like a serious surgery.
Yeah. No, I think going back to the boredom, I think you do have this element of, if you're a lab tech, you're a scientist, and you're in a lab and closed walls all day, and you're just staring at chemicals, your job is to make the next shit, like the iPhone, like iPhones. Every single year there's a new iPhone release. Same thing with drugs. They're like, all right, fentanyl was 2023, like what's going to be the 2024? We need a fentanyl update. And then you have some tech in the lab that's completely disconnected from how it's going to affect other people. He's just doing his job, or she's just doing her job, and then they mix some shit together. They give it to their boss, and the boss is like, "Oh, it's actually really good shit." And then it just starts to get distributed, and then that supply leaks into the cartels, and other people get their hands on it. They reverse engineer it, and then all of a sudden, now Narcan pens don't work anymore because it's just way too strong.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's wild news. I mean, I guess we'll see. Knock on wood, it seems like some of the fentanyl crisis I could be totally speaking out of turn here. It only seems like it's slowed down to me because there was a period of time where like 5 celebrities died, like starting with Mac Miller and like Lil Peep and like so Demi Lovato almost KO'd herself.
Yeah.
Like lots of these celebrities were like dropping like flies. Like,
yeah.
And that it's been pretty quiet on that front for a minute. So that's just my pop culture brain being like, it must have slowed down. But I could be very wrong.
So apparently it hasn't slowed down at all. And I didn't know
You're
this.
like, actually, it's been speeding up.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it's killing more people than cruises. It is.
Oh, man.
I didn't know this until I read this article. So I was completely oblivious to the actual number. But apparently, it says that carfentanil is diverted, stolen, or manufactured overseas and then added to cocaine and other illicit drugs as cheap and easy to obtain filler substance. Cocaine contaminated with fentanyl has contributed to about 75% of opioid-related overdose deaths in 2023, which is a huge rise from the years before. So most of it is people but like you hear about it with the celebrities. I think celebrities have an advantage though when you have a plug and you maybe have better testing. Everyone knows like you get access to better drugs if you're a celebrity. Like doing cocaine with Mick Jagger is not like doing cocaine on a college campus. It's just
not
totally
going to
different.
Washington Square and just picking some up.
I mean, if I wanted to
some park coke.
Yeah, some carfentanil park coke for sure. I'd go pick it up. But apparently that's where most of the deaths are happening is with the cocaine contaminated with carfentanil. Well, it was just fentanyl. Now it's carfentanil.
Yeah.
And this made me realize that
I don't like this software update we got going on.
Yeah, the updates.
I need to
insane.
reboot it. We need to start from scratch again.
I think we need to go back in time.
We need to wipe the hard drive, everybody.
The modern day, we need to go back to just blank cocaine.
Yeah.
And the last time that was a thing was back in the 80s when cocaine first started popping off. The modern day cartel has ruined cocaine. Like they have just gotten too greedy and too dumb, honestly. Like actually, just in case we have some cartel listeners, I don't have any.
Wait, is that our demographic?
Yeah, just in case we have any guys listening in the Sinaloa
that
cartel.
Would be great to go into our stats and like find out that. Because it does break down like maybe gender, age group. It starts getting more and more specific. Like, wow, 80% of our listenership is from the cartel.
Yeah, from the Sinaloa card. But yeah, I think the modern day cartel has ruined cocaine. It's just like you used to be able to do a line of blow, and it was just purely fun, and you would have to do way too much blow for a long time to die from it or to get a heart attack. Now it's like you do half a bump and half of it is carfentanil and your heart just stops beating after 5 minutes. So it's like we should bring Pablo Escobar back. We should have never killed Pablo Escobar because yes, he was murdering a lot of people. Yes, he was a domestic terrorist in Colombia, but cocaine was fun when Pablo Escobar was in charge. He didn't want to mess with people's fun. He knew what his product was. He respected the product. He did a lot of things to protect it. Now these Gen Z cartellers are just messing it up for everyone. We need to go back to the old school.
And there you have it, people. Vote for Zach 2024. He is putting the fun back in cocaine.
Yeah. And that's cocaine. If you're doing cocaine, it should be fun. You should not be doing drugs thinking,
this is true.
Am I going to die doing 2 grains of this up my nose?
That is fucked.
Like that is too much stress to have a good time. You want drugs to be a release, an escape. And under Pablo Escobar's regime, if you were in, if you were fortunate
That's
enough.
your campaign model.
Yeah.
His Pablo Escobar's, just his whole vibe from back then.
His vibe, not his actions, his vibe.
You're bringing back the vibe.
The vibe of the 80s. It was a good vibe.
Yeah.
You didn't have to ask people where they got their cocaine because there was nothing in it besides some baby powder or maybe some laxative that it was getting cut with. They wouldn't, be putting it. They wouldn't want to kill the customers because that would make them less money. But now it's just like there are all these warring cartels, and now like it's like they're trying to contaminate the other's supply, and they're putting shit in that it's just it's not fun anymore. I think we should put the fun back in drugs.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do think that's super valid. It's really fucked up that people are out there that are just looking for a bump of cocaine and then they die of fentanyl poisoning. That's super fucked. Anybody who's putting fentanyl in drugs that they're selling and knows about it, you suck. Your mother sucks. Everything about you fucking sucks. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
people die from touching it. I'm just like, put carfentanil on child porn DVD cases. That would be the best way to use it.
Just like paint it on.
Yeah, literally just dip to every time. If you're the cartel and you're listening to this and you're like, we just bought all this carfentanil and we have nowhere to put it. We don't want to lose our money. We want to do something good as the cartel. We want to give back to society. Buy a bunch of child porn on the black market, dip them all in carfentanil, and then just sell them to people who buy child porn, and then it'll make the world a better place.
It could. There is, however, in recent news, I believe there might be competition.
Is this a speaking of child porn article?
No, it's I think there is a powerhouse of a drug out there that might be even stronger than what you're mentioning.
I'm interested.
So, Panera Bread.
Oh, hell yeah.
Panera Bread's charged lemonade has been blamed for a second death.
Really?
So, yes. So, Panera Bread has a supercharged caffeinated lemonade drink. And I think a problem with this drink is that like it wasn't explicitly advertised like just how caffeinated this drink is. So this all came to light because a man, R.I.P., a man, Dennis Brown, age 46, drank 3 of the highly caffeinated beverages before suffering a cardiac arrest in October. Now, this was after, in earlier October, the parents of a 21-year-old college student in Pennsylvania also filed a lawsuit because this young girl also drank these caffeinated lemonades. And basically what they have in common is both of these victims had a previous cardiac condition where they did not drink any energy drinks. Like they couldn't drink it. So in reality, they should not have been drinking any of these lemonades, but they were, because Panera had not advertised just how fucking caffeinated these fucking lemonades were. So 2 people now have died from them. So just to break down how much caffeine is in these drinks versus some other options, one large that's when I say large, it is 30 ounces. One large Panera charged lemonade has about 390 milligrams of caffeine. And that's about 4 times the amount found in 1 cup of coffee. And also it's recommended that humans like maximum a day have like 400 milligrams of caffeine. Okay. So that means, and usually we fit into that fine. And that's like a regular healthy person that doesn't have any high blood sugar, cardiac issues. Like I myself can have a cup of coffee in the morning. Then I could go have, a Sprite later in the day and rack up from that like 200 milligrams maybe. But people like Dennis and this poor girl, like, they don't drink any of that shit because they're not supposed to. I mean, they might be able to have a little bit of like green tea, decaf coffee, stuff like that. You would think you could have a glass of lemonade
Yeah.
and not die from it. So what I'm saying is Panera is out here with the most supercharged drug of all time, which is caffeine.
Yeah. I smell carfentanil contamination. I think the cartel has infiltrated the lemonade supply as well. Even incidentally, there's so much going on in the water supply it's used to make lemonade.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot of things going on, so who knows? I mean, it could be just the caffeine in the drink, but also, would this have happened if Pablo Escobar was still in power? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps. I also think that, like, this is now, like, this lemonade is, like, you're, like, staring into oblivion going to drink one of these lemonades. It's like, you have a shit day and you're thinking about, like, unaliving yourself. It's like, I'm driving straight to Panera.
Yeah.
I'm driving straight to Panera and I'm fucking downing 4 of these little lemonade bitches. And let's see if it puts me over the edge and I go into cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
You got easy access here.
Yeah. I mean, Panera has even a business model for now, assisted unaliving. They could say, look, if you're thinking about ending it, you could fly to Oregon where it's legal now, or you could just head to your local Panera and we'll put you on an IV and we'll make sure you're comfortable.
It straight into your system.
We'll give you that apple walnut balsamic salad that's like crack, and you'll have a main line of charged lemonade and you'll go out the right way, which is, having so much caffeine in your system that your vision starts to blur as your heart stops completely.
It is insane. It is super insane. I feel bad for the man that passed because specifically this man had there's a picture of him. He's the most adorable man. He clearly has some special needs. He would go to Panera pretty regularly. Like, he would go to work and like Panera was like a little treat. So this man goes to Panera for a little treat and he treated himself all right. He treated himself to 3 of those lemonade drinks. And it just put him over the edge because in reality, this lemonade drink that they serve in those refreshing ass clear cups, which is totally a marketing ploy to get you to drink something because everybody likes the look of a drink in a clear cup with ice. It looks so good.
It does.
So, and that, first of all, you can just refill your drink. I haven't been to Panera in a while, but the drinks, like, you get your cup and then you go fill up your drink yourself. You can just keep going back for more. So he's slurping down a lemonade. He's like, it's the best fucking lemonade I ever had in my life. And before you know it, he literally goes home and dies because he had one too many lemonades.
Yeah. Do you think there was a point where this guy was drinking lemonade and he started to feel his heart palpitate and he just goes, oh shit, I must be dehydrated. So he just immediately slurps the rest of the 30 ounce and then he's like, oh my God, I guess I'm still dehydrated. And he just keeps going back for refills until eventually he's at the pearly gates.
I will say that 3 is kind of a lot. I max out at like 2 of something. Yeah. If I'm at Panera, because usually I'll have it if I'm sitting in there, I'll drink down my cup and then I'll be like, okay, let me go get a refill before I leave. So how he fit that 3rd one in, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
So does it say what the full name of the lemonade is listed? Was it just charged lemonade?
It's literally called charged lemonade. But it's not coming in like a energy drink bottle or can or anything. It's like, I'm pretty sure that it's made just like when you go and they have the green tea and the raspberry hibiscus, whatever bullshit. Like, It's just in those beautiful clear containers.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. I haven't ordered it, so I don't know. You might have to have them fill it up for you. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I see if to be fair for both sides, if I'm the lawyer for Panera
and it's charged up, baby.
And yeah, and I say, you know, here is, I don't know, a teddy bear. And the name of the teddy bear is charged Teddy. What do you think the bear does? Like what do you think might happen if you touch this bear? A, it's gonna poo. B, it's gonna say hello. C, it's gonna electrocute you. Or D, it's gonna give you $1. Which one would you pick if the name was charged Teddy?
This man had special needs, Zach. Okay, not everybody's as smart as you.
Okay, right? Well, let me say it slower. Let me say it slower then.
Shut up.
Okay.
Okay, but I did just read more, and so I can confirm now that this was not a lemonade that was behind the counter. This was a lemonade that's set with all the other drinks, self-serve, amongst other caffeinated and non-caffeinated drinks. I can't confirm this, but I do think I know myself that when you go into a Panera, the menu's up on the fucking ceiling, basically. And like in America, I'm pretty sure the FDA, it does make you put, well, it might not say how much caffeine's in it. It might just say calories. Because it does say here, it's unclear whether Brown knew just how much caffeine was in it. And if it's sitting right next to all the other drinks, but it really just actually needs to be marketed as like, this is an energy drink. Like this is, if you want a Red Bull, which is fine. If you want a Red Bull, try our charged lemonade. Yeah. But instead it's like, I wouldn't think anything of it. Honestly, I'd just be like, okay, they're getting fancy with the names, I guess. Like, charged lemonade. I wouldn't immediately go like, oh, this has to be like a Red Bull.
No, yeah.
Unless it tasted like that. I mean, I don't know what it tastes like, but
for real, I do sympathize with these guys. Well, I mean, they're dead, so I can't sympathize with them. I sympathize with what happened to them. They're former beings. I sympathize what happened to their former spirits.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think there are a lot of people that walk through life that don't make the connection, or that no one's just ever educated them on the connection between caffeine and anxiety, or caffeine and heart conditions. I wasn't aware of this until I was 23, and I had a panic attack in Starbucks that I made my mom bring me to the hospital for. And I think I spoke about it on a previous episode a while ago, but my rationale was, oh, I feel like the walls are closing in on me. I need more liquid and caffeine in my body because that'll help me refocus. And so I'm literally having the stereotypical movie scene where the tunnel vision starts happening, and my heart is beating through my throat, and I'm like, oh, more coffee, and I'm just chugging a fucking venti Americano with an extra shot. And I'm like, what is happening? And I go outside, I'm crying, and I call my mom, and the doctor's like, you think you're dying, but you're not actually dying. Look, here are the numbers. And I'm like, this whole hospital is a conspiracy. I don't believe any of you. My mom's trying to kill, like, all this stuff. And then I go do research on the internet, and it's like, oh, caffeine exacerbates anxiety and can lead to other things, which sounds really obvious, but there are a lot of people that just don't know. So I think there should be, especially with high caffeinated beverages, some sort of label, not only with the caffeine, but hey, this might give you anxiety if you are predisposed to anxious feelings.
Yeah. I think like at the end of the day, it's your individual responsibility to know what caffeine is and the effect of caffeine and how much you should have a day. But I do think, like, we all know, when you see an energy drink, you know what an energy drink does, and you know that it's super, like, it's got a lot of extra stuff in it. I don't drink energy drinks because of that. But some people do regularly, depending on their job or whatever they just want to do, to each their own. I think where Panera went wrong is just that they're not wrong for serving the drink. It's just they're wrong for basically just putting it in the mix with like their unsweetened iced tea and like other stuff. So it says now that since this happened, the restaurant like brick and mortar locations and their website now have put more detailed disclosures and recommend that children do not have any of the charged lemonade and that it should be had in moderation in general. So I'm kind of like, they're fighting this, saying like, oh, it wasn't our fault. But I'm like, that alone kind of tells me like, it kind of was your fault. Like, if you had to go back in and be like, you know what, maybe we should put a sign on this. Like, I'm kind of like, I think you should have always had a sign.
I mean, we have when you walk into a gun store, you see the caliber of the gun. You know how powerful it is.
When you drink alcohol, there's a sign. When you smoke cigarettes, like all these things, there's signs. It's like, okay, if you're pregnant, don't do this or whatever. Like
on the tea that I buy, it has a little bar for how strong the tea is. And this is like midday / sleepy time tea if it has lower caffeine content. So if you have lemonade that kills you, you should at least have some sort of bar where it's like, this is our drink and this is where Coca-Cola is. Ours is, 4 times the amount or whatever, just so you're aware.
They probably would never want to do that because when I tell you in this Washington Post article, where I got a lot of this information from, there is a chart that basically compares the amount of caffeine to like this 30-ounce Panera charged lemonade. The drastic difference between like a can of Mountain Dew and this large lemonade is shocking.
But
like
I was gonna say when you compare it to the same amount of Mountain Dew to the same amount of lemonade, how much is the difference? Does it say? Because you have to keep the math, volume the same.
Yeah. So a can of Mountain Dew is what? Probably like 12 ounces.
12 ounces. Yeah.
So 12 ounces of Mountain Dew has 55 milligrams.
Okay.
30 ounces of the charged lemonade has 390 milligrams. So it'd still be way less.
Okay,
right?
So it's still like 140, 150.
That's insane.
Milligrams, yeah. It's like
because
3
Mountain
times as
Dew
much
is
as a
like
soda.
Toxic waste.
Yeah.
Like the amount of sugar and caffeine in Mountain Dew is pretty insane already. It's like I went on a Mountain Dew whirlwind as a child, so I'm no better than the rest, but it is one of the now what I would say grosser sodas as an adult. So to think that this lemonade is like over 100 milligrams stronger, it's like it needs to be put in the mix. I mean, how big is a can of Monster? Because those are bigger cans, right?
Bigger cans. It also has a lot of labels on it. When you buy Monster, it looks like it could kill you. So it's like there's a signal on the can basically telling you if you drink multiple Monster cans, you're not going to feel well, just to let you know.
Yeah. Okay. So a standard Monster can is about 17 fluid ounces, 16 and change. So a standard Monster energy drink is 160 milligrams milligrams of sugar. So, and then you double that.
Milligrams of sugar or caffeine?
Or caffeine, yes. Yeah. Good correction. So, but even if you double that, you still come up just under, but it's pretty comparable.
Yeah.
To the Panera charged lemonade.
And when you look at a Monster can, you can see this is pretty obviously a caffeinated substance. It says it, I'm pretty sure, on the front, like 200 milligrams of caffeine or whatever. So I think the problem is that like they just didn't. There's no sign to make people aware. Yeah, there's nothing labeled. Once you take it out of the can, you got to put something on it to let people know.
Just have a special like self-pour case, get like put a fucking lightning bolt on that shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to notify a Panera employee to come unlock the case. Like you're buying a
you have to
cell
hit the
phone in Best
button
Buy.
like
Yeah.
at Walgreens.
Yeah. They're like,
It's
please.
like a customer in aisle 1 would like to get supercharged.
Yeah. And she has gloves on taking the can out. Making sure not to touch. It has like that sort of nitrous oxide frost coming off of it as she hands it to you. Just like, good luck. And she just does the sign of the cross and gives you the can. I think there's a good use for this. I was thinking about it like, if I'm a Navy SEAL and I'm going in on a mission, let's say back in the day, if I was a Navy SEAL going in to kill Osama bin Laden and I'm in the helicopter, I'm just racked up with my AR-15 sniper rifle, whatever I have. I got night vision goggles, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit tired because we've been planning this mission for months and months on ends. I want to go I want to kick down the fucking door in Osama bin Laden's compound, feeling like a goddamn superhero. I'm chugging 3 charged lemonades before I go in to headshot Osama. Like, we don't have to take this completely off the market, but you could just change the marketing slightly to, instead of giving this to young adults with Down syndrome, how about we give it to Navy SEALs who need the elevated heart rate for focus and energy, putting it where it needs to be.
Perhaps. I mean, there is obviously a raging market for energy drinks. So, I mean, I think Panera had a decent idea. Just the execution was a little too executed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Woo! There it is, baby.
Yep. That's all I got anyway. So be careful out there with those Panera charged drinks, okay? In moderation only, my friends.
Yeah. And look, if you're a Navy SEAL, I think Panera has military discounts. So if you're about to go in on a mission, stop by your local Panera and get charged up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want to do one more? We could do a quick one to end off.
Okay.
Let's do it. Oh, we got a friend.
She's always on my lap. You know how it goes.
Is she charged up?
She's always charged up, Zach.
Boom. There you go. So speaking of food establishments, there was a woman who assaulted a Chipotle worker sentenced to a fast food job for 2 months. So she did not get sent to jail. She got sentenced to work a fast food job. This is
with pay or no pay?
We'll find out.
Okay, because I'm they're making good money now.
Yeah.
She got assigned a job?
This is from BBC News. So a judge has ordered Rosemary Hain, 39, must work a fast food job for 2 months. Hain was captured in a viral video screaming at a Chipotle employee before throwing her food in the worker's face.
That's fucked up.
At first, she was slated to pay a fine and serve 180 days in jail with 90 days suspended. But then the judge had another idea. Quote, "You didn't get your burrito bowl the way you like it, and this is how you respond," Judge Timothy Gilligan told Hain at her sentencing in Parma, Ohio. Quote, "This is not Real Housewives of Parma. This behavior is not acceptable." I love how the judge brought up the Real Housewives when he's sentencing someone for
he was
a criminal
at home
activity.
The night before with his wife, or she with her husband, just be like, how does this line sound?
Yeah.
As they're watching, like, Bravo.
You've got to have a good line. Judge Gilligan told Hain, the woman who threw the Chipotle bowl in the employee's face, she could cut 60 days off of her jail sentence if she agreed to work at least 20 hours per week at a fast food restaurant for two months. Hain accepted. It didn't specify in the article, but it sounded like it was unpaid, almost like community service type thing.
Yeah.
But you're working at a fast food restaurant in 2 months. I first just want to say it is tough working at a fast food place for sure. I empathize with fast food workers. I'm sure they have to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Chipotle, because there's nowhere you can hide.
Nowhere you can hide.
Nowhere you can go cry in Chipotle. What are you gonna do? You just gotta sit on the floor and cry. Stick your head in a cabinet.
You've got the grill right behind you. I guess you could sort of like duck down behind the glass counter and hope that a customer doesn't see you bawling your eyes out. So I just want to preface this with saying that it seems like a hard job working at a fast food establishment. I want to say though, I have had an experience at a Chipotle where I can see the other side. I wanted to. I did not. I did not throw the bowl. But so I had someone. I asked for a chicken bowl, and in Chipotle, for people who have not been going to Chipotle for a long time, I first started going to Chipotle back in like 2012 when I was a freshman in college. And I don't know if this is a company standard thing that's been sent out, but I noticed this for many Chipotles that I went to. The amount that they've been handing out for meat servings for a single serving of chicken or steak has been dwindling over the past decade. It used to be a heaping scoop. I would ask for...
Yeah, they better load that bitch up.
I would never get a double at Chipotle.
I want my bowl bussin'. I want it bussin' out of that aluminum foil top.
And it was for a long time. And I never had to get double meat because it would just be, they would give me a heaping scoop of chicken. And then over time, 2015, I go to Chipotle. It's like they scoop a chicken and they go, oh, that's a little too much. And they put some back in. And I'm like, you couldn't have just given me the thing. And then all of a sudden it gets to like a kind of half a scoop and they're like counting the pieces of chicken. So I don't know what the top of Chipotle is telling these people if they're like measuring the number of chickens.
It's got to be chicken. Like it has to be each store, buys a certain amount of chicken.
Yeah.
And then based on their profits, they're like, we're giving out too much chicken. And we got to cut back.
So I went into Chipotle, this is probably 2 years ago, and I was in Brooklyn. And the woman, as I will say I've had great service at Chipotle, and people are usually very kind. This woman didn't look at me when I was ordering, which is fine. She's just like, what are you having? And was looking down and getting the bowl or the wrap ready. There weren't that many people even in there. So like that, I just kind of noticed that. And then I said, I'll have a chicken bowl. And she, first of all, made a fuss out of giving me a top because I said, could I also get a top with it as she's sliding it down?
Everybody gets a top.
I like to shake it up. You want to shake
it. Yeah. At this point, I don't even ask. Like most Chipotle employees just give you the top.
She didn't give me the top. I had to say I wanted the top with it. And at the beginning, when I asked for chicken, no joke, she gave me 3 pieces of chicken in the spoon and put it into the bowl. And I asked her very kindly, can I get some more chicken? Like it seems like, and she said to me that will be charged for a double. And I was like, in my head,
there's only 3 fucking pieces. In 3 fucking pieces.
And in that moment, I wanted to waterboard her with medium salsa. I wanted to not only throw the bowl in her face, I wanted to like press down on it like a spouse suffocating their
you were going to drown her in sour cream, basically.
Yes, essentially.
You were going to see bubbles coming up from the sour cream.
I didn't. I just made I made a little bit of a fuss. I was like, that's not. I've gotten Chipotle for a long time now. That's nowhere near a serving of meat that I've gotten. And she ended up giving me maybe like 2 more pieces of chicken. Didn't charge me for the double. It was fine. I never went back to that Chipotle. So I will say, in the article and in the video, which really isn't clear what happened before, you don't really know what went on before the bowl was thrown.
I kind of agree with you.
Throwing it.
But I agree with you because I've had a terrible situation at a Chipotle as well. And let's be real, when Chipotle is on their game, they're on their game. It's good. But one time, back when I lived in Baltimore, I used to work at a place where I'd get off late some nights. I'd get off, at like 9 or so. So a lot of times as I was closing up the shop at that time, I'd like order food, like so I could pick it up on my way home because I'd be like beat and I just want to eat and take a shower and chill. So, you know, and I rotated places, but I was like, let me do Chipotle. So I went on their app and I go on and you can like order online, right? You get the whole thing online. So I placed my order and I'm not even like, I get basic shit. Like I don't even get a lot of stuff in my bowl. I just do like brown rice, chicken, and throw some salsa and cheese in that bitch, and I'm happy. I don't even need like the guac, the sour cream. I don't need any of that. So I just need like the basic ingredients.
Yeah. The basic bitch bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I order it. It says it's like ready. I'm like, great. And I know it should be ready because it's like it took me probably 30 minutes from ordering to like get to location.
Yeah.
This Chipotle said they were open until like 10:30. I get there at like 9:15. The lights are on, employees are in there, but it's like a ghost town because it's late and it's probably a weekday. And I go in and I'm like, I'm picking up an order. You know, there's usually this shelf with like the online orders. Yeah. I go in, I'm like, oh, I'm picking up an order for Sam. I'm not kidding you. They looked at me like I had two fucking heads. I'm like, so then I'm like, maybe I'm not speaking English right now. Like maybe we're having a language barrier. So then I like show them my phone to be like, online order. Here it is.
Yeah. And like I do in Panama when I can't say what I want in Spanish. I'm like, just look at Google Translate. Look,
yeah, just
I can't.
read, please. So like I show them the screen and they just kind of give me a look and then they like look at the buffet essentially and they're like, well, we're all out of rice. And I'm like, you're out of fucking rice? They claimed they were out of rice, corn. They just didn't even want to make the food. They decided 2 hours before closing time that they were done for the day. And I wouldn't even give a shit if they did that, but cancel the order.
Yeah.
Just cancel the order. That's what had me so pissed. The worst part, Zach, was, and I feel like I talk about this too much that I'm a stoner, but this was one time that I left work. Mind you, I worked at a dispensary. So, I mean, what more can I say? So I lit up a J because from this place of work to my house was quite literally like a 10-minute drive and Chipotle sat in between them. So I lit up a J, put the windows down. I'm driving to the Chipotle. So now I'm like stoned. Had sober me been in there, I could have thrown a Chipotle bowl. But because I was stoned, the situation actually confused me so much that I went back to my car and I just sat in the parking lot for like 5 minutes being like, what the hell just happened? I'm like looking up like, yeah, they're still open. Like, what?
Yeah.
So I was so mad because I was just like, just cancel the order. Like I drove here out of my way thinking I'm picking up food and you little bitches just don't want to cook anything.
Yeah. The next day you realize you're so high you were in a Walgreens instead of a Chipotle and you're like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Where's my fucking
where's
my chicken bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, what?
As I'm like wiping off rice from my shirt.
Yeah, this is the pharmacy counter. Where read my order?
Yeah. No, but so I actually understand. Like when Chipotle is bad, they are aggravatingly bad because they don't even. They have the most basic ingredients you can get at the store. Rice, corn, meat, and like tomato and lettuce. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they could go get some rice. And another thing, Zach, this Chipotle was in a shopping center with a grocery store. So they could have just walked over and got a bag of brown rice. And just cooked it. Like, it was crazy.
You can't be out of rice if you're a Chipotle.
No,
that's
rice
like
is abundant.
That's like going to a fucking like gym that has a basketball court and you grab a basketball and the fucking hoop is missing and they're like, oh, you didn't tell us you wanted a hoop. You just signed out the basketball. Like the rice is the most foundational thing in the bowl, literally the bottom of the bowl.
I understand things happen. You just can't, like, just close just close the store. But that's the thing. They weren't actually out of ingredients.
Yeah.
They literally just didn't want to do it.
They were just lazy bitches.
Because I was stoned, I was like asking myself all the questions. Like, was I like rude when I went in? Like, what happened? Like, did I place it at the wrong location? Like, I'm checking everything. Like, and then I looked at the reviews of this Chipotle and they were all like 1 star. Like, these people don't want to work. These people don't want to be here. It's the worst Chipotle ever. So that validated me because I actually was like, am I like an idiot? Did I place this to a Chipotle in like California? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. I love how I started this topic saying, look, I empathize with Chipotle workers, and now we're like some of them some of them should get the electric chair.
Actually, though, like, I don't wish happiness amongst them. They could have canceled my order and I would have just been like, okay, and just like ordered a pizza instead. Instead, you wasted my time and then also treated me like a fool when I walked in like a normal person that placed an order at an establishment.
Yeah. So you always got to look at both sides of the story. Yes,
that's true.
You know, the employee got a bowl thrown in her face, but also we don't know what incited the incident. So I just wanted to go back to the punishment. So essentially,
she's working at Chipotle for free.
The judge says, you threw a bowl at a fast food worker. You are now sentenced to work in fast food. Which is like, okay, I guess that works. But think about the precedent that this is setting in the court system. Like, what if you assault a brain surgeon? Like, what if I walk into a hospital?
You are a brain surgeon.
Yeah, and I take a scalpel and I just try to stab a brain surgeon and I get arrested. And the judge is like, well, now you're performing brain surgery, like open heart surgery, brain surgery. You're basically in charge of the surgical ward for the next 2 months at New York Hospital for special surgery. I like this precedent only works for shitty jobs. You can't do this.
Yeah, it's got to be case by case.
Yeah, it's got to be a case by case basis. Like you can't just like fully across the board. Just like if you know in an extreme case, let's say you got a pedophile.
I really want to be an actor. So then I just go like beat the shit out of an actor.
Yeah.
And just hope that they make me go be an actor.
Yeah. I'm gonna assault Timothy Chalamet so I could be the next Willy Wonka.
Exactly.
just take his job. That is a I was thinking this only works for shitty jobs, and there are some jobs where it would actually just put the person in a position to commit more of the same crime. Like if a pedophile got arrested for molesting a child and the judge was like, you have to switch roles, you have to take the child's job, and it's the pedophile is just like, well, now I'm just sitting in a 2nd grade class surrounded by more potential victims every single day. I have to spend 2 months in a 2nd grade classroom. So you can't do this. You can only do this in like certain just low pressure, just like lower end jobs. You can't just like fully do this across the board.
I do like that. Like she's not getting paid or anything. That makes it more valid. Because I was gonna just say like, it's not like that working at Chipotle or like McDonald's or anything is like low class. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, you can either be like, okay, you need to go do community service and like clean up the highway, like go out there and pick up trash like we see people do that are like trying to get their hours in or whatever. That is like, I feel valid because we need to clean up the earth, and it's just like, yeah, go do it. You need do your community service. But now we're like, it's like, what? We just got you a job at Chipotle? What if they become a star employee? They're like the best employee. By the end of it, they get promoted.
They're managing the Chipotle after 2 months.
Exactly.
It's like this is actually the best thing that happened to me. I'm gonna throw more bowls in people's faces.
Health insurance, and everything by the end of this.
Yeah, and the person that used to work at Chipotle, they just fired them, and they're like, I don't ever want to see that person again.
Actually, you did suck at your job. So
I like that. I think it's
full circle.
Full circle. I honestly like I've heard horror stories on the internet about like how terrible the conditions are at some fast food establishments. So if I didn't have control over which fast food establishment I would be placed at, because the judge just sentenced her to 20 hours a week at a fast food restaurant for 2 months. So I don't know if she's being placed or she can apply and see where she gets in. But if it was just kind of like luck of the draw and I could end up like in the back of a Long John Silver with some guy doing heroin and fucking just like, that's my life for 2 months, I might look the judge right in the face and say, I'll take prison. I don't care. Like, I don't want
send me to the Long John Silvers in bumfuck St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah. I'll take 60 more days in prison. Granted, it's not like you're not going to a high security prison. You're not going to get stabbed for throwing a bowl in someone's face. You're going to go to like some low level prison for like low violent or non-violent
just like
crimes.
Whatever county jail, honestly.
You don't have to work. Like, you're just in a cell and then you go outside for a few hours a day. You could read, you could work out. Like, I don't want to have to work a 9 to 5 if I don't have to. If this government can pay for me to live for 2 months or work at a fast food place,
like, why would I do that?
I'll go to prison. Like, just give me the prison.
Hey, it's valid. It's valid. So I guess you could choose. That's the American justice system for you.
Yeah. And I think that's just a lesson for Breaking Takes listeners, is that we're always trying to give people just tips and insights in how to get ahead. And we're not going to give you that self-help grinding bullshit, waking up at 5:30 a.m. trying to start 4 businesses a week.
Play ping pong.
Yeah.
On your cruise ship.
Yeah. We're going to tell you how it is. Like, we live in America, the land where you can throw a bowl in someone's face and get a job the next day. And if you're unemployed, like, this is a good way, save up some money, go to a local fast food place and throw a piece of food in an employee's face, and you might have a job. You might wake up with a judge handing you a job instead of going to prison. This is the beautiful country we live in.
And then after that, you can make $50K on Cameo.
Yeah.
It's endless opportunity. This is the American dream.
Yeah. I mean, people say America has problems, and other than us, like, occasionally funding a genocide abroad, like, look at the opportunity. Like, you could just do all of these things and go from zero to hero, and it all starts with launching a chicken bowl in a disgruntled employee's face.
That's right. And another life lesson given to you by Breaking Takes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's truly been a pleasure. It's been a great year. We're coming to the end of 2024. And thank you guys who have been sticking with us since the first episode. I think we're at 23 now, which is crazy. And if you're just tuning in, we hope you stay along for the ride.
Yeah. I mean, so we are going to be taking a holiday break. Should we mention that?
So we're I think we have one more episode to record.
Yeah.
Right?
So
before the break.
Yeah. So there will be episodes out up until, I believe, at least the 22nd of December. And then we're going to take a little holiday break, but we'll be back. We're going to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to break our takes.
Charged up.
I mean, charge the fuck up.
I'm
getting charged right now. I'm about to stock my fridge with some fucking lemonades And I'm gonna be so ready.
Oh yeah,
so
I don't want to feel
yourself.
I don't want to feel my legs tonight. I want to drink so much charged lemonade that I think I'm a paraplegic. That's how high I want to get on caffeine. I want to forget how to walk. That is how much lemonade I want in my system. Come at me, Panera. You don't have shit. You know, we're in America. This is America, and I can do what I want. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
And if you want more episodes while we're on a break, because it'll be probably for about a month. Subscribe to Breaking Takes Premium, where we will have by the end of the year 5 or 6 episodes up in the backlog, which is like almost 12 hours of content.
That
plus
will
a few
keep you
mini-sodes,
going for the time that we're gone.
And it also grows every month. So we're adding episodes. But if you want more Breaking Takes during that holiday break, breakingtakes.supercast.com. And then we'll be back sometime end of January. Again, if you're listening to this is the second to last one. So there'll be one more that gets posted. But if you want to sign up early before the break, starts at $5 a month and you'll have some
You got $5.
Some extra content.
Listen, I deserve a gift for Christmas, for Hanukkah. Yeah. Give me your money. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to use it to mostly keep in my own bank account, and then for every $5 you give, I will put 10 cents in a fund for my family's Christmas present. That is my pledge.
That's beautiful.
And that will all go towards hopefully one big $5 Amazon gift card that my family can split.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give it to them. You enjoy.
$1 for each of you.
Good luck finding something that's $5 on Amazon.
Have fun at the dollar store. Oh, wait, it's an Amazon gift card. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to make them spend gas because they'll probably spend more gas getting the present than the actual present itself. So, $5.
Merry Christmas.
You're putting 10 cents towards that. So you can feel good this holiday season.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And we look forward to chatting with you next week.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Peace.